When was the last time you bought a big bag of popcorn, sat in a pitch-black theater with 100 strangers, and watched 10 minutes of ads and trailers while waiting for your movie to begin? Today, all that can be done without leaving the comforts of your home. And not just one movie, hours upon hours of premium content. For many, it all begins with this sound.
Could that possibly be the Netflix sound? Wow.
And Red Black is the Netflix introduction.
Thank God for Netflix. We survived the circuit breaker. Problem is, once you get hooked on one of these series, there's just no end to it. It goes on and on.
With 183 million paying customers, 32,000 hours of content, or 4 years of binge watching, and covering all but 4 regions on the planet, Netflix is the global leader of streaming by subscription numbers. But there was a time when TV producers and movie studios determined what people watched, and prying control out of their hands was an uphill battle.
The home video industry was in its very earliest days. He couldn't find a buyer for the home video catalog.
So they actually sent threatening letters saying, you know, you can't do this, you can't rent it.
Keep them as long as you want, without late fees.
We were losing money every year for the first couple of years.
And when we first switched to streaming, the technology wasn't that ready. It wasn't ready for what we call prime time.
Nobody really believed that this was a legitimate business.
Who were the people who dragged films, kicking and screaming, off the big screen? And how did they revolutionize the industry?
Television, first shown to the public at the World's Fair, now takes its place. Enjoy your favorite program, black and white or color.
It was first created to record television.
Make a list of the movies you want to see, and in about 1 business day, you'll get 3 DVDs.
Well, I think broadcast television is really going to move to the internet.
'70s America. Hair was big, denim was acid washed, and people were bound to the schedules of primetime television.
The most unlikely hero the West has ever known. Kung Fu, Mike Stone, and Steve Keller, putting things right on the streets of San Francisco. Every Thursday night on ABC.
You could not pause, rewind, nor go pee until the ad break.
Does your spray deodorant stop perspiration wetness? Use new Arid Extra Dry every day to be sure.
Comes a new design, the trim line.
But between 1971 and 1976, a wave of developments would break the tyranny of traditional TV. Sony released the U-matic system, the first video cassette recorder that would allow the recording of TV shows. Then it made the Betamax, a more consumer-friendly model. The world's electronic giants, from Philips to Mitsubishi, followed suit with their own version of the VCR. But one tape would rule them all. On September 9th, 1976, JVC introduced a product that the company had been working on in secrecy. They dubbed it the HR3300. And it ran on a spool of magnetic tape that could hold up to 2 hours of video. The mighty VHS. At the low price of $999 US, it cost less than half that of its closest competitor, the Betamax. The VCR and its VHS tapes swept through Japan, and by mid-1977, it came kicking down the doors of the United States.
Choose a JVC video home system and you'll get a picture as true and as...
This is Professor Frederick Vassar, who teaches film in New York. But in the 80s...
In the 1980s, I was a sound editor in Hollywood, in Los Angeles. Most of the films I was working on were a response to the home video market. People having difficulty with their time schedule where they couldn't really watch television when it was scheduled.
You see, American society was changing in the 70s and 80s. After World War II, a huge swath of the population had moved to the suburbs and started families. They were spending more time at home, and TV became the go-to entertainment.
At that point, there is also this idea that they want to spend quality time in their house. That's why they want to actually also be able to see, films at their own time, and be in charge of their own viewing experience. People get themselves some copies of videos, and what they do is they start renting them to other people. So this is in a very grassroots way, this phenomenon starts.
In 1977, George Atkinson, a one-time stuntman and occasional actor, opened the first commercial video store in the US. For a membership fee, you could rent one of 50 films he carried for the princely sum of $10 US. Despite that, the business model took off. Soon there was a video rental store on every main and not-so-main street. Before Netflix and chill, there was Be Kind and Rewind.
It becomes mainstream that everybody could get access to a video store about 1981. There were at the height of it, there was about 30,000 video stores from coast to coast, surpassing the number of movie theaters.
We lived in Sweden for a while. There were shops or at the gas station, you could rent VHS.
Before the days of streaming, that was the only real option. You had to decide when you wanted to watch something.
It was a treat. Friday night, going down, $8. We can get maybe 2.
Over the 80s, video would grow into a $10 billion industry. And that was when, early on in the decade, a man named Austin First Jr. saw an opportunity. Austin was an executive at Time Inc., the publishing powerhouse. In the 1980s, the company wanted to go into the film business.
Austin was asked to become president of what would be named Time Life Films.
This is John Pasinger, and he was recruited to join the short-lived film division.
I got there probably about 7 months before the mandate was issued to close down the operation. Austin was charged with the responsibility of liquidating the assets that had been built up within Time Life Films.
Film assets usually comprise 3 different rights. Theatrical rights, which enable one to exhibit films in cinema halls. Broadcast rights, which includes TV, radio, and now the internet. And home video rights. Austin was able to sell off the first 2.
But bearing in mind this is in the context of 1980, the home video industry was in its very earliest days. He couldn't find a buyer for the home video catalog.
So Austin made a proposal to the board. Give him the home video rights for free, and with each sale he made, he would pay them a royalty fee. He then came to John, who was now out of a job, and asked his help to monetize those video rights. Austin and John decided to call their company Vestron, and by moving first, they were free to exploit a gaping hole in the filmmaking industry. The fact that no other company was buying up home video rights.
Hollywood recreates Moscow on a plane in Spain. Or turns a studio backlot into a New York street.
Movie making was expensive business. Most of the major Hollywood studios hardly wanted to sink boatloads of cash into producing their own movies. So films were made mainly by independent producers. The studios will swoop in to buy the theatrical rights to the finished films, picking up the film negatives to take to the cinema. This practice was known as negative pickups.
The producer would give the studios the negative, and the agreement would be that the studio will distribute the film all over the world, but the rest of the rights for that film stays with the producer.
And that includes, you guessed it, home video rights, something that Vestron now has plenty of.
It was an international video conference in Cannes in the south of France. Austin thought I should go over there and get a lay of the land. When I started talking to people and word got around that Vestron had this body of rights, we were inundated with offers. I mean, literally, people wanted to put checks in my pocket and secure the rights before I even left town. It was clearly an indication that home video was about to take off on a global basis.
At the same time, Austin and John were plotting their domestic launch at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
I flew around the country and started lining up wholesalers, distributors. I wanted them to come to our opening presentation in Las Vegas. And if they delivered that check that day, we would offer them a 3% discount on their entire order. I remember telling Austin about it, and he said, well, you know, let's hope somebody shows up at our presentation. We left Las Vegas with $2 million in orders, far beyond our wildest dreams.
Fast forward years later,
In about one business day, you'll get
another
3
company would
DVDs.
also attempt to deliver entertainment to consumers with a new medium.
Netflix. All the movies you want, $20 a month, and no late fees.
This story begins in 1997. Titanic had just grossed $1 billion, and IBM's Deep Blue beats Garry Kasparov at chess.
And whoa!
The internet was still in its infancy. Think of the dark days of dial-up. But it was about to change the way we consume entertainment.
Hi, I'm Brandy Little, and I'll be taking you through the Blockbuster Customer Service Program. In the last few years, the retail business has become increasingly...
Gina Keating was working at the business desk at Reuters at a time when the home video rental chain Blockbuster was all the rage.
Blockbuster was the only place that you could rent a video. However, their customer service proposition was absolutely awful. Who has not had a terrible experience at Blockbuster? I mean, how many times did you go in to rent a video and have a huge late fee and argued with the clerk?
I return those movies and every other movie that I've ever rented.
Blockbuster was in no hurry to reform. After all, the video rental chain raked in $785 million in profit in 1995, with much of it coming from overdue penalties.
60, 70, 80, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
You kept it out more than 3 days, then you had to pay a fee. I had forgotten about one video and it was very late, so I had a big fee, and you know, you just feel stupid about it.
This is Reed Hastings, the head honcho of Netflix. In 1997, Reed and his carpooling buddy Mark Randolph were toying with the idea of starting an e-commerce business, and they settled on video.
We were looking for potential new business ideas, and a friend told me about DVD, and I realized, oh, I bet you can that post, because it's very lightweight, about 20 grams, that you could do essentially a Blockbuster by mail.
So they went down to a record store in Santa Cruz, bought this compact disc, stuck it into the greeting card envelope, addressed it to Reed's house, and then mailed it there in Santa Cruz. And it arrived the next day at Reed's house. It was unbroken, and they said, this is gonna work.
You know, I'm not sure if you would call it visionary. You take Blockbuster and Amazon, and you cross them.
On April 14th, 1998, the Netflix site went live. They received 108 orders on day one, beyond anyone's wildest expectations. But what no one could predict was how this little company would one day change the world of entertainment. In the 1950s and 60s, Hollywood was bleeding money. Most of their films were political and counterculture, like Bonnie and Clyde, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and The Graduate. Only 1 in 10 productions made a profit.
2 new guys, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and they come up with a new formula that's no politics or very little politics, pure entertainment, and put a lot of money into it. And this turned out to be the new formula for a mass audience that Hollywood could count on.
This formula would become known as the blockbuster, a high-concept film whose plot could be described in less than 25 words, easy to understand, easy to sell. The 70s and 80s would be called the blockbuster era.
So look at Jaws, Shark Attack, on a beach community. Star Wars, Rebels versus the Empire in outer space.
This formula put Hollywood firmly back on the path of profitability. By 1985, over half of all films released turned a profit and became some of the United States' most valuable exports. In Asia, consumers embraced American blockbusters. By this time, pre-recorded video cassette tapes meant for home viewing have also taken America by storm. And a startup company called Vestron was rising in the home video market with a strategy that couldn't be further from big money, hit-centric Hollywood.
This is Vestron's first home. We launched here in 1981 with 3 employees. And it's just, to give it perspective, about 20, 25 feet of frontage here. Top floor were offices, the bottom warehouse space. And twice an hour, trains would come by. Well, we had the train schedule. So if we were on the phone talking to a customer or supplier, we would anticipate the blast of that horn and say, can you hang on 1 second? Put the phone on hold. The horn would blast, then we'd continue the conversation.
With a small team and startup culture, Vestron kept overheads low and spent its money instead on acquiring content, looking for the opposite of blockbusters, with John's mantra,
you can go fishing with a rod and reel, or you can go fishing with big nets. And we did the latter. If you were an independent producer in the early 80s, you heard from Vestron.
My friend was actually present at some conference where they were selling movies, and he said the Vestron people would just come in and buy everything, as much as they could.
I don't want you.
Vestron was going for a wide range of content, anything from drama, travel, educational, horror, to children's video. They even made tapes of current events like the Pope's visit and magazine-formatted videos with National Geographic. Vestron's tapes flooded the video rental stores and began chipping away at the film industry's revenue pie.
Looking for that perfect date movie became a Friday night tradition for many.
We just like to support local businesses.
The Hollywood movie studios did not like the idea of stores renting out the tapes, because they figured if somebody's renting out the tapes, we should get a piece of that money. That's our money. They sent the letters to the video stores from their lawyer.
But this was all just a scare tactic. Thanks to a law called the First Sale Doctrine, the owner of the physical tape is free to do whatever he wants with it, as long as he's not copying or broadcasting it. The tension between Hollywood and the video rentals escalated into an all-out war, with the major studios lobbying Congress for a bill prohibiting home video rentals. Austin, one of the pioneers of this new industry, fought hard.
Austin first actually went to Washington and testified to Congress against what the studios were trying to do.
The tremendous opposition mounted by consumers and the rental industry eventually forced the bill to be dropped.
If you're busy like me, going to the video store is a hassle. With Netflix, just make a list of the movies you want to see.
20 years later, using the same first sale law, Netflix, a cool, independent rental company, was filling American mailboxes with DVDs. Like Vestron in the 80s, they too were trying to fish with a big net, carrying everything under the sun. They even made a DVD of Bill Clinton's testimony in the Monica Lewinsky case.
My recollection is that I did not have sexual relations with her.
Despite that, they had a problem. The company was both selling and renting DVDs. 90% of revenue came from sales, while rentals were sluggish, given that it took a few days for DVDs to reach the customer and the same amount of time to come back. The Netflix team knew they had to knuckle down on rentals and make it work.
Desperation, the model that we were currently first using, which was a 1-week rental, was not working very well. And so that got us to try a subscription. At first, it wasn't even unlimited. At first, it was, I think it was $4, per month or something. And then we went to unlimited for $20 a month. And that was the big breakthrough in '99.
With Netflix, you just make a list of the movies you want to see, and you'll get your first DVDs in about 1 business day.
It simplified the experience because when you sent one DVD back, we automatically sent you the next one from your list.
In an era where subscriptions were as foreign as basil-flavored ice cream, Netflix turned on a tap. Subscriber numbers shot up, and within 6 to 8 weeks, the entire company switched over to subscription.
And magically, it worked, and people loved it. They actually were coming back and putting their credit card in and just paying that subscription fee and telling everybody about it. And it just became a hugely, hugely popular, to the point that they stopped selling DVDs and started putting everybody into the subscription program.
Finding the right movie to rent hasn't always been easy. With Netflix, you can get the details on all 50,000...
The small startup may have found a stopgap solution for the time being, but it was far from being profitable.
We were losing money every year for the first couple of years. So all we thought about was survival.
And soon, it will meet even bigger money problems and a generation-defining stock market crash.
Well, it's not meltdown, it's not Armageddon.
Imagine the perfect video store. It would have a great...
By 1985, the market for home video was worth $3.5 billion US. And leading the charge was an independent video distribution company named after a Greek goddess, Vestron.
First mover advantage is for any business to enter a market with a disruptive business model first. You have the advantage against your competitors being first by building up a lot of knowledge, a lot of information of what this market is all about. And the problem is once you have gained that, you have to continue doing this.
The small little films by the mid-1980s are probably not enough to drive a company like Vestron. What are you going to do to compete with Hollywood? Where are you going to get the big movies of the future?
So catch up they did. In 1982, Vestron made a deal with a mini studio called Orion Pictures to handle all its domestic video distribution. It gave them films like Platoon, Terminator, and Rambo.
They were still not big blockbusters, but they were quality films. I mean, Platoon won the Oscars from 1984 and 1986. So it was a sizable force in the market.
The 1980s was also shaken up by another wonderful invention. It was young, it was loud, and it was ready to party. MTV, short for music television, hit the airwaves with the words, "Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll." It would go on to define pop culture, change generations, and launch the career of Michael Jackson. From early on, Vestron wanted a piece of the pie.
In the early 80s, no one was hotter than Michael Jackson. Austin and I were sitting in the office one evening, and the phone rings, and it's our attorney in Los Angeles. And he describes to us that Michael has this vision for creating a mini feature music video based on his song Thriller, along with a proposal for a $1 million budget. Music videos, the most elaborate ones in those days might have been $50,000.
But the Vestron boys knew this was one opportunity too good to pass up.
I said, if we can figure out how to stretch this into a 1-hour program, so there's enough substance there, then I can package it as a home video for sale. So I was able to go to Showtime, the pay television service, and we worked out an arrangement. If they would put up a third of the budget, we would give them the rights to show on pay television the 1-hour documentary. And then we went to MTV. We said, if you will give us a third of the budget for the whole film, we will give you the exclusive rights to world premiere the 17-minute video.
So for just a third of the cost, Vestron released Making Michael Jackson's Thriller. The video sold 900,000 units and put Vestron on the map. They were now riding with the big boys. Fast forward to year 2000. Netflix was a DVD rental startup looking for a foothold in both the tech and entertainment industries.
All the DVDs you want, starting at only $9.99 a month, no late fees.
I started covering Netflix in 2004 when I was given the entertainment beat in the Los Angeles bureau. And they were given to me along with some other really big publicly traded companies like Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar. And they were this really small company, and I didn't really understood how it worked. I didn't understand exactly what they did. So I had to get this kid who was 26 years old at the time and was the only guy in the office who understood what this company was. And he got me online and showed me how to rent a movie. And I thought, why would anyone ever do this?
In the late 90s, thousands of internet companies, or .coms, like Netflix, mushroomed across the United States on the back of investor confidence that anything online was going to be worth millions. A bubble formed, driving up the NASDAQ stock index by 400% in 5 years. But right at its peak in 2000, news that Japan had once again entered into a recession triggered global panic selling. As fast as the market had inflated, it plunged to pre-bubble levels. Netflix, having grown its subscriber base by offering free trials and other deals, was bleeding money. It had accumulated $50 million in losses.
Open late every night.
To try and save themselves, they tried to propose an unlikely partnership with their biggest competitor.
They went to Blockbuster to try to sell themselves to Blockbuster. They wanted to be the digital part of Blockbuster. And the Blockbuster guys kind of laughed in their faces because Reed Hastings asked for $50 million to buy the company. And the Blockbuster guys just thought, well, we can do this a lot cheaper.
With no deal from Blockbuster, Reed and his team fell back on the belief that started the company in the first place. Internet TV was going to be all of TV.
We always knew we wanted to deliver over the internet. That's why we named the company Netflix, so net for internet, and Flix is American slang for movies. We didn't name it the company DVDbymail.com or something. So we were just waiting for the internet to get fast enough.
But they were not the first to attempt this. The year 1998, the company Hong Kong Telecom, spending an astronomical $1.5 billion, they launched a service called ITV. Their grand plan was to deliver hours of movie, music, radio on demand through a set-top box connected to the internet. And how would they achieve that? By covering the entire territory with high-speed fiber optics. Despite the massive hype, it was a total flop. Content licensing issues and customer confusion at the new platform meant that even at its peak, it had just 90,000 subscribers. By the new millennium, internet speeds had caught up, allowing for something we now know as streaming. The term originates from how data, whether it's a movie or a song, is delivered to you. Rather than send the entire data at one time like a download, streamed data is being sent continuously in real time through the internet like a stream. Once you've watched, say, the first 5 minutes of a movie, the data is being discarded, while the parts of the movie you haven't watched haven't been sent to you yet. At any one time, you only have a small portion of data, and this is only possible via high-speed internet. It led to this legendary video called Me at the Zoo.
Here we are, one of the elephants.
One of the first to be streamed online. It was 2005. The site was called YouTube. And right on their heels was Netflix.
And when we first switched to streaming, the technology wasn't that ready. We didn't have rights to much content, so it wasn't ready for what we call prime time. What we did is we just made it a free add-on as part of your DVD subscription. And so you get it for free.
Todd Yellin, documentary filmmaker turned vice president at Netflix.
And so from 2007 through 2010, we tested and tested and tested. We got more rights from different studios to, put on better TV shows and movies. And we made the technology better and better so you wouldn't rebuffer so much, so you'd have a much clearer picture. And then here's a really key step. How do you get on other devices besides your laptop? And so our first deal we made to get onto a TV was with LG, the Korean company, which distributes TVs. Then we made a deal with Microsoft. And it's like, how about when you plug in your Xbox, you can watch Netflix too? And then we made a deal with Nintendo, and you could plug in your Wii, and there was Netflix. And then soon after, we got it onto the phone. And that was a big step. So now you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want, on any device you want.
I protect your identity.
And Netflix came up with a way to get people glued to their screens with binge watching.
One day, one night, the whole day. Can we not please show this to my mom?
When I was watching Fauda, I was stuck morning to night, literally.
That's why my phone got confiscated.
Some of these series that they send on Netflix they just go on forever. I like stories to have a start and an end.
It's a commitment problem. I feel that if I watch a show on Netflix, if you watch one episode, you're sort of committing yourself to watch an entire season of something.
But what stops you?
Guilt, usually, then should I be doing something better with my life?
With so many TV shows and movies, we don't want people looking and not sure what to watch. So it's very important for us to put the right title in front of the right people at the right time. When they click play every time, we understand what they like. But it's not just clicking play. Do they watch the whole thing or do they abandon? And then they have the ability to go thumbs up or thumbs down and tell us what did they think of that piece of content.
Netflix recommends a lot of blockbuster shows, which I guess I won't admit that I like to watch, like Underworld, but I guess I do watch enough of them.
I think they've got me labeled.
My wife is interested in detective stories. She wants to see people being murdered.
I noticed once I started watching a couple of Hindi shows, every time I put on Netflix, all the Hindi shows show up.
They have so many different categories, they just keep throwing them at you in the hope that one of them clicks with you, so I guess that's just...
It's amazing how they do it, but they do it.
Eugenie Yo is one of those people who decides what goes on your Netflix homepage.
We want to be able to help our members feel like Netflix just gets them. Whatever you see in your homepage is based on your viewing preferences and your viewing habits. Now we go a little bit deeper, and even for the same show, say for example Kingdom, which is a Korean period zombie show, we might have different artwork showed to us based on our viewing preferences. So for example, I love rom-coms, whereas my husband is more of a sci-fi buff. For me, I might have an image of the couple looking lovingly at each other, and for him, it might be more of the zombie and the gore that he's used to watching.
Back in 1985, Austin first had decided to take his home video distribution company, Vestron, to the capital markets. It went public on the New York Stock Exchange with an IPO of $440 million. At its peak, sales approximated $350 million annually. By this time, competition in the home video market has heated up. Deals that Vestron used to rely on to fill their catalogs, like the Orion partnership, were not being renewed. And new video rights that used to go for cheap now cost a few million.
We recognized that we had to be developing our own product. A little home video company in Stamford, Connecticut was now going to make movies and distribute them into theater. And with that, anybody in Hollywood, many other places in the country, that had a script that had been gathering dust on the shelves, dusted it off, and sent it to Vestron. So we waded through hundreds, if not thousands, of scripts. The one that immediately caught our eye, it was a wonderful coming-of-age story of a takeoff the ugly duckling becoming the swan.
That little script went into production, and in 1987, Vestron Pictures gave the world one of the most memorable films of all time, Dirty Dancing.
I was 18 years old at that time, and I can't believe I'm going to tell this on camera, but it was a good film to go and accompany girls to go on a date. So that was I went to see it 3 times with 3 different girls I went to school with.
The average Hollywood film budget at the time was over $18 million. But this was shot for only 6, starring newcomers Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey.
That because the film was independent and made by, in this case, by Vestron, it was allowed to take gambles and to take chances that paid off.
In 1987, Vestron Pictures made a wildly successful film, Dirty Dancing, for a mere $6 million. It became the biggest indie with a foreign box office of $150 million. But that's where Vestron's good fortunes came to an end.
In 1988, we were riding a wave, and now we were looking to build on that and take it to the next stage. In order to do that, we wanted to get a line of credit. At the end of the process, we came to an agreement with Security Pacific National Bank for a $100 million line of credit. We were off to the races. We green-lighted a number of new films.
But 90 days after promising Vestron a $100 million loan, the bank reneged, stating they've detected a material adverse change in the firm's business. Exactly what made the bank change its mind remains a mystery.
Well, in the development of many companies, there are certain points where you are highly vulnerable. And on the back of the commitment from the bank, We had made many commitments ourselves, and now they pulled the rug out from under us.
And that was what triggered the bankruptcy. I mean, they might have survived with small little video rentals if they were a small company, but now they had gotten too big.
We were able to secure what's called a bridge loan if we would agree to liquidate the company. It's unquestionably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my professional life.
In 1989, the company dismantled its production unit. A month later, the entire company was up for sale. But this pioneer in the home video market left an indelible mark on the film industry. By 2013, the streaming race was well underway. In China, the exclusion of Western video platforms meant domestic players like Youku Tudou, iQIYI, and Tencent Video would grow into behemoths with 500 million users each. In the US, Netflix was leading the streaming race with 40 million subscribers to its service. The only other serious contender was the content production giant HBO, while Hulu and Amazon were barely making a dent in the competition. But Netflix would now face the same challenge that Vestron did. Streaming rights were going to get way more expensive.
2012, 11, the studios started talking rather in a hostile fashion about Netflix and saying that as soon as those deals expired, they were going to take back their rights and try to do this streaming thing on their own.
So we thought we probably would do better starting to become a production company also. So we had a very tiny original Netflix series in 2012, and then we launched this really big series with stars called House of Cards.
President of the United States, that I will faithfully execute the office of
Power is a
President.
lot like real estate. It's all about location, location, location.
This is going to be a big year for us.
They wanted this TV show so badly because it intersected 3 really huge viewer groups that Netflix had. Number one, people loved David Fincher. When they discovered David Fincher, they wanted to see every movie that he ever made. Same thing with Kevin Spacey. Third, there was a British version of House of Cards that was on Netflix already, and people loved it.
House of Cards sent a message that Netflix was capable of producing content that was as good, if not better, than the best shows on network TV. Today, Netflix is a major player in the media landscape, worth more than Fox and HBO combined. Although the streaming giant has deep pockets, others like Amazon Prime, Hulu, Apple Plus are getting in the ring. So Netflix needed to step up its game.
The Netflix service has gone live in nearly every country of the world.
First, they went global. From the US, they launched in 130 countries simultaneously. By 2017, they were operating in over 190 countries.
We feel like we've just begun on our journey of content outside of the US. You know, Money Heist is an example of a Spanish series that has done really well globally, or Dark, which was created in Germany for a very German audience, but has traveled really well across the world.
But it's Asia. With its growing middle class and rising internet and smartphone penetration rates, that offers a burgeoning market set to expand tens of billions of dollars per year. It's also one that's dominated by regional heavyweights like Tencent in China, Viu in Hong Kong, and Voot in India. Netflix entered Singapore in early 2016, and the rest of Southeast Asia soon after. Its 11% market share in Asia Pacific is predicted to more than double by 2025. Mailita Aga leads Netflix's battle for eyeballs in this part of the world.
In Southeast Asia and this part of the world, we've been doing original content since 2016. The Night Comes for Us, a film out of Indonesia, which we produced a couple of years ago, traveled really widely in the region and also beyond it, as far as Africa. We've had, of course, a lot of Korean series that have been global phenomenon, like Kingdom. And Naked Director, coming out of Japan, has also had a lot of audiences in various countries in the world, including in Latin America. And since then, we've been doubling our volume of content from this part of the world.
As the year of the coronavirus pandemic upends American entertainment companies, from Disney's crippled theme parks, Warner Brothers' furloughed blockbusters, AMC's shuttered theaters, Netflix is growing from strength to strength. 160 Emmy Award nominations, sales up 25% year on year, stocks up 50%. Their recent market cap, $213.3 billion.
When you've got people in traditional companies, people think about what does their boss want? And how do I please my boss? And that rarely generates great ideas. And we try to get people to think about what do the customers want and what will help the company grow. The creative work is messy and fertile. It's not sterile, it's dynamic. And we manage on the edge of chaos because that's where we get the best ideas.
Ever so often, a new piece of technology comes along with the potential to disrupt an entire industry. But it's the entrepreneurs who turn potential into reality. Some win by being nimble and competitive, others by rapid and repeated innovation. And with every strategic move they make, write the future how we, the consumers, are being entertained.